She smiles sweetly in public. But behind that smile hides something darker. Manipulation. Control. Deception. Evil doesn't always look like the villain in a horror movie. Sometimes it looks like love, like care, like charm. But when the mask slips, the damage she causes is unforgettable. If you've ever been emotionally drained, gaslighted, or made to feel like you were the problem, you might have crossed paths with a woman who isn't just toxic. She's truly evil. In this video, we're exposing 7 disturbing signs of an evil woman, so you can protect your soul, your peace, and your future. Collision, watch till the end, because the last sign is the most terrifying, but also the easiest to miss. Before we start, if you've ever been misled or hurt by someone pretending to love you, hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful content, and turn on the notification bell. This could save someone's life. 1. She twists reality like a weapon. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you've lost your grip on reality? Like what you clearly saw, felt, or heard somehow never happened? That's not forgetfulness. That's psychological warfare. When you're dealing with an evil woman, arguments don't follow logic. There are no facts, only her version of the truth. And she's willing to twist it beyond recognition to maintain control. You might say, "That hurt me." And she'll respond with, "You're too sensitive." You might bring up something she did, and she'll instantly turn it around. "I only did that because you pushed me to." She doesn't just deny your experience, she erases it. You say what happened. She says you're crazy. You recall what she saw. She says you imagined it. You try to explain how you felt. She says you're being dramatic. This isn't confusion. It's intentional manipulation. Gaslighting isn't her defense mechanism. It's her primary weapon. It's how she controls the narrative. How she wears you down. How she makes you doubt your own sanity until you stop trusting yourself and start depending entirely on her version of reality. And that's the goal. Because an evil woman doesn't care about honesty or resolution, she craves dominance. She knows, if she can control the story you tell yourself, she doesn't need chains to control you. Your own mind becomes the prison. You'll find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do, defending yourself against lies you never imagined, questioning your own memories, emotions, even your identity. And that's when she wins. Because now, you're not even fighting her. You're fighting yourself. So, if someone constantly makes you feel crazy, if you start second-guessing every thought, every memory, every instinct, it's not love. It's not miscommunication. It's psychological abuse. And no matter how beautiful the packaging may look, manipulation is still poison. 2. She plays the victim, flawlessly. Here's what makes her truly dangerous. She never looks like the villain. No matter how much damage she causes. No matter how many hearts she breaks, lies she spins, or people she manipulates. She's always the one who ends up looking like the poor soul who was mistreated. She can cheat, and yet somehow convince others it was your fault. "I felt so unloved, so neglected, you pushed me to it." She can lie to your face, and when confronted, she'll whisper, "I was just protecting myself, you wouldn't understand." Evil women are masterful performers. They don't just pretend, they embody the role of the broken, misunderstood victim. They can cry on cue, tremble with emotion, lower their voice, slow their breath, and make everyone around them believe that they're the one who's been wrong, even while standing over the ruins they created. And here's the terrifying part, people believe her. Because she doesn't come off as aggressive. She plays sweet. She acts gentle. She says, "I did everything I could, but they never appreciated me." And just like that, the truth gets buried. Not under rage, but under tears. She hurts you. She betrays your trust. She manipulates, lies, triangulates, gossips, destroys reputations. And yet, she walks away with sympathy, not consequences. Because the evil woman knows exactly how to flip the script. She knows if she can get ahead of the truth, if she can cry first, speak softer, act more hurt. She controls the spotlight. And whoever controls the spotlight controls the narrative. You'll find yourself isolated. People will question you. They'll say, "She doesn't seem like that type of person." And you'll feel like you're screaming into a void, because she already played the victim so convincingly, no one's listening anymore. And here's the worst part. She enjoys it. She enjoys watching people comfort her while you sit there with the knife still in your back. That's not misunderstanding. That's not immaturity. That is cold-blooded emotional manipulation, refined to an art. So if someone in your life constantly causes chaos, and yet always ends up with people feeling sorry for her, open your eyes. That's not a coincidence. That's a strategy. 3. She destroys confidence subtly. She doesn't come at you with direct insults. No screaming. No obvious abuse. That would be too easy to detect, and too easy to walk away from. Instead, she works in whispers, in suggestions, in jokes. And that's what makes her dangerous. She starts small. "Are you sure you can pull that off?" You've looked better before." "I'm just being honest." "Would you rather I lied?" And when you finally react, when you call her out, she shrugs and says, "Relax. You're too sensitive. It was just a joke." But these aren't jokes. They're strategic hits to your self-worth. It's not one deep stab, it's 1,000 tiny cuts. So small, so subtle, that you don't even realize you're bleeding confidence until it's already drained from you. At first, you brush it off. But over time, you start second-guessing yourself. You stop wearing what you like. You hold back your opinions. You look in the mirror, and instead of seeing your strength, you see flaws she planted in your mind. This is not accidental. It's calculated character erosion. Because the more she chips away at your self-esteem, the more you need her approval to feel okay. And once she becomes the only voice you trust, she becomes the one that defines your worth. That's the goal. Because a confident person is powerful. But a broken one? A broken one is easier to control. Easier to gaslight. Easier to manipulate. She doesn't want an equal, she wants a puppet. Someone who constantly questions their looks, their intelligence, their decisions, until they surrender all power to her. And here's the scariest part. This kind of abuse doesn't leave bruises. No one sees it. No one hears it. But you feel it, every single day. So if you find yourself constantly feeling not good enough around someone, if you once felt strong and now feel small, it's not in your head. Someone is cutting you down, piece by piece. 4. She uses love like bait. She doesn't love you. She studies you. She figures out your emotional needs, your weaknesses, your deepest wounds. Not to heal you, but to hook you. At first, she's everything you ever dreamed of. She showers you with affection, compliments, intimacy. She listens, laughs, mirrors your desires. And just when you start to let your guard down, just when you start to believe it's real, she begins to pull away. Suddenly, she's distant, cold, unavailable. She doesn't return texts. She doesn't show interest. And when you ask what's wrong, she blames you. You're being clingy. You're imagining things. You're too needy. But this isn't accidental behavior. This is a pattern, a trap. She gives just enough warmth to make you emotionally dependent, then rips it away the moment you crave it most. And what do? You chase it. You try harder. You think you're the problem. That's how she gains control. Because when someone can give and withhold love at will, they start to feel like oxygen. You're no longer loving her, you're addicted to the highs and desperate to avoid the lows. This isn't love. It's a psychological game of reward and punishment. And it conditions you like a prisoner. When you obey, you get love. When you question, resist, or need too much, she starves you emotionally. And you stay, thinking the person who hurt you is also the one who can heal you. But she's not healing you, she's draining you. Because evil isn't always loud and aggressive. Sometimes it whispers, "I love you," while it slowly eats your soul from the inside. So if someone gives you just enough to keep you chasing, but never enough to feel secure, that's not love. That's emotional manipulation. That's bait. And you're the prey. 5. She has no empathy, only excuses. You can be sitting across from her, your heart breaking, your voice trembling, tears in your eyes. And she'll look at you, completely unfazed. Not confused. Not overwhelmed. Just emotionless. Because when it comes to your pain, she feels nothing. You could pour your soul out, explain how she hurt you, how she betrayed your trust. And instead of remorse, she'll sigh. Roll her eyes. Maybe even laugh. As if your suffering is an inconvenience to her mood. Why? Because evil women don't feel empathy. Not the real kind. They may mimic it, say the right things, show a tear when it benefits them. But when no one's watching, the mask comes off. And what's underneath is cold, calculated detachment. You tell her she caused you pain. She says, "Well, maybe if you hadn't acted that way." You say she broke your trust. She says, "Trust is earned. You lost mine first." You point out how she hurt others. She says, "They deserved it." She doesn't self-reflect. She doesn't ask, "What did I do wrong?" She asks, "How can I make this your fault?" Because for her, it's not about connection. It's not about understanding. It's about winning, deflecting, justifying. She doesn't care about the damage she causes. She only cares about escaping the blame. And if you ever think you'll get an apology, not a fake one, a real one, with responsibility and remorse, you won't. Because she doesn't feel guilt. She feels inconvenienced by the fact that you're holding her accountable. Even when her actions wreck someone's mental health. Even when she leaves emotional scars that last a lifetime. She won't sit in that truth. She'll twist it, escape it, and somehow walk away feeling like she's the victim once again. So if you're with someone who never takes accountability, someone who watches people suffer and feels nothing but annoyance, that's not strength. That's not emotional control. That's a lack of soul. 6. She turns people against you. At first, everything feels normal. Your relationships are solid. Your friends are close. Your family trusts you. But then, something shifts. One by one, people start pulling away. Texts go unanswered. Calls stop coming. Conversations feel colder. And no one says why. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? But you can't trace it. Because the attack wasn't direct. It was silent and strategic. Behind the scenes, she's already at work. Whispering poison into the ears of the people closest to you. Not blatant lies. That would be too obvious. No, she uses subtlety like a weapon. She's just so insecure. I'm really worried about her. He's been acting strange lately. I think something's wrong with him emotionally. I try to help, but they push everyone away. She wraps her manipulation in fake concern, making herself look like the caring one, while painting you as unstable, selfish, or even dangerous. What she's doing is psychological warfare, social assassination. She distorts your image little by little, until the people you love no longer see you. They see the twisted version of you that she carefully constructed. And the cruelest part? You don't even know it's happening. By the time you realize, it's too late. Your reputation has been shattered in the very places you thought were safe. Now you're isolated. And that's exactly what she wanted. Because evil women understand something deeply dangerous. If you still have support, friends who believe in you, family that reminds you who you are, then you're harder to control. But if she can cut those ties, if she can make you feel alone in a room full of people, then she can break you quietly, without ever laying a hand on you. This isn't just manipulation. It's emotional exile. And it's one of the most sinister tactics in her playbook. So if you start noticing that people are changing around you for no clear reason, if their perception of you no longer matches who you know yourself to be, take a hard look at who's been whispering behind your back. Because it just might be her. 7. Her presence feels heavy, even when she's silent. Sometimes, evil doesn't come with chaos. It doesn't yell. It doesn't throw things. It just sits quietly in the room. And yet the air feels heavy, like something invisible is suffocating your peace. You can't explain it. She hasn't said anything cruel. She hasn't even raised her voice. But somehow, just being around her makes your chest tighten. Your thoughts scramble. And your energy sink. That's not paranoia. That's not you overreacting. That's your intuition screaming for survival. You find yourself constantly second-guessing everything you say. Walking on eggshells. Editing yourself. Afraid that even the smallest misstep will set something off. And even when she's completely silent, you still feel like you're being judged. Or worse, watched. Because an evil presence doesn't need to speak to have power. It radiates. It projects an unseen force that twists the atmosphere itself. People around her become tense. Conversations die. Laughter fades. And yet, she pretends not to notice. She'll smile softly, act sweet, while silently draining the life out of every moment. You may tell yourself, maybe it's just me. But deep down, your soul knows. It recognizes danger even before your mind can form the words. Because evil has an energy. It doesn't always come with threats or insults, it comes with spiritual disturbance. Your nervous system picks it up like a radar. It tells you, you're not safe here. But if you ignore that instinct long enough, you'll begin to lose yourself. Not just mentally, but spiritually. You'll feel exhausted after every interaction. You'll question your worth, your sanity, your truth. And worst of all, you'll forget what peace ever felt like. That's the final and most terrifying sign. When her silence screams louder than any insult ever could. So if you feel deeply unsettled in someone's presence, even if they haven't said a word, trust your soul. It's not guessing. It's warning you. As we conclude, not every woman with flaws is evil. But if you've seen more than one of these signs, you need to protect yourself. Evil doesn't need horns. Sometimes it wears perfume and speaks softly. Don't wait for the breaking point. Trust what your spirit feels, even when your heart doesn't want to believe it. Let us know in the comments, have you ever dealt with someone like this? What was the biggest red flag? Don't forget to like this video if it hit home. Subscribe for more real, raw, and powerful truths every week. And always remember, peace is not a luxury. It's your right. Thanks for watching.